and it actually is working.
Yeah.
So all the little gremlins have gone home, so it's all a good thing. Hello, everybody.
Yay.
How are you doing? It is telling me that we are live, and so I feel alive. Trina, are you alive, hon?
I'm
You look
alive.
alive to me. All
Yeah.
right, so if you're alive, I'm alive, we're all alive, so it is a good thing. What else do I have down here? There's just so much stuff going on. But we're doing good. I'm driving the bus, I'm just having to check the security cameras and, making sure that everyone in the back is behaving. What are y'all doing back there? I mean, I often wonder, it's like, what goes on in the back of the bus? That's all I got to say. Welcome,
Probably
everyone.
making their favorite
I don't know what
libation,
they're doing. I mean, it's like
doing
they're obviously
laundry.
having a good time. So, it's like, okay, fine. But welcome, everyone. It is a second look, and we've been doing this for 6, 7 years, and we're another one in the books, Trina, and another holiday season is upon us. So, um, happy holidays, happy
Happy holidays.
Hanukkah,
Happy
Christmas,
everything.
whatever it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
so be
Happy
happy.
everything. Whatever you wish. Yeah.
Yeah, who is that Pernell Williams who sings that song Happy? You know,
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
got to be happy.
I love that
Yeah,
song.
yeah, that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Clap
So
along if you feel. Yeah, that's a
that's
good
it,
one.
and you just got to get that dance out there. It's like
Yes, I'm happy.
I love the when they used to do the spontaneous large groups dances, all over the world. That one is really good. And
Yeah,
what was the
I
other?
love that.
Yeah, it's like
What are those called? Flash mobs. I
yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
they would yeah. So we can still happen. We can still have it. It's really a matter of attitude, folks. That's all it is. So, let me just speak favor over us all. I mean, good, fortunate, powerful, positive, favor that, it's the kind that, you just want to snuggle up with and, get close to. That's type of favor. And we like to say that this is the season where everyone thinks of peace.
Mhm.
And actually, we say it every day here, nothing missing, nothing broken. That's what that is. And what we found most importantly, I guess, in 2025 is to be kind to your mind because they're out there wanting to jack with your mind. So if you're kind to your mind, it's like a shields up,
Yeah,
kind of, well, that's why I look at it, Trina. So,
it's true. I think it's primary game playing focus right there.
I think it is. If you're, we're reading right now. I've been reading this John D book, and I love it. It really comes down to it that if you're kind to your own mind, then that is like a defensive shield. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
so
it creates a totally different vibration in
it
your
does.
body.
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, either
That was
you're
the
making yucky or you're making snowflakes, and it's about what you feel about you.
yeah. I appreciate the fact that I grew up loving science fiction, and if many of you are the, Star Trek Next Generation, what have you, but
Hmm.
when they would put up their shields, and then when the
Hmm.
enemy would attack them with whatever energy weapon it was, the shields would absorb that energy and then transmute that energy back into the ship. So that's what we do, is
Yeah,
transmute the energy. Suck it up,
absolutely.
baby.
To benefit
Yeah.
instead of harm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I didn't see you last week, so let me
Mm,
just, I missed you, and
I miss
I'm
you
sure
too.
Jenny will be on here.
I
So,
hope so.
what have you been up to? Tell us what's anything
I
exciting.
just all
Love
the
the sweater, by the
holiday
way.
planning, and I've got clients, and it's everywhere from Hanukkah all the way through to Christmas. So it's a big thing with, people and family and events and celebrations of all kinds and fashions. And I love that diversity within my world. I get to see a
Yeah.
little bit of a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I love it. Yeah.
Uh, you know, I don't celebrate, we don't celebrate Christmas here in the traditional sense, but
Hmm.
um, it is though, and I love the fact that it's a holiday season, you know.
Me too.
I
Me
dig the
too.
music still,
Me.
it's
Yeah.
kind of this, you know.
Yeah.
I don't do the
Yeah.
decorating because number one, to me, it's a pain in the ass to put up to begin with. And inevitably, it's going to be a pain back in my ass again to take it back down. So we don't
Yeah,
do
the little kid in me loves the sparkly lights, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to get over that. And I blame my grandma.
Yeah. Hey, Miss Jenny, how are you, my dear? Good to see you.
Hi, Emily. Yeah,
Hey,
I'm
sweetie.
okay. It just feels like hey, beautiful one. I haven't seen you for ages.
Oh, no,
Feels like it.
I know.
Yes, it feels
Miss
like
you.
time's just slipping. I miss you too. Doesn't it? Like time
Time
is
keeps on
scarce.
slipping, slipping into the future.
Yeah, fly
Little
like an
Steve Miller
eagle.
band going on there.
Yeah, I love that song, Fly Like
Yeah,
an Eagle. Oh,
yeah.
amazing
I
song.
wanna fly like an eagle. So, but yeah, you're right. Time is, yeah. In fact, I wrote it in the comments section. By the way, hello, everybody in the chat
Hey,
room. We love
everybody.
you. So good to see all of you. This year has just gone by like that. I mean,
Thank goodness.
you're like the
Silver
second person
lining.
that has said that. It's been a year of challenges, but I guess yeah. So, and if 25 is anything, I don't know what, next week we'll have to do a show dedicated to what do the prognosticators say of 26.
God, it's
Yeah,
all totally doom and gloom. It's
It's
so
a
bad.
lot of that shit out there,
Yeah,
man.
and,
I
and
mean,
I really
let
think
me
that's
just say,
done.
I'll use the word manure or
Yeah,
dung or
yeah,
poop or poo.
yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it
Hmm.
all smells the
makes
same,
it sound organic.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Wayne. I'm like,
Stinks.
there's a lot going on. We got to figure out how to start driving instead of just witnessing. We got to actively participate if there's any chance we're gonna get through some of the fun plans they have coming for us.
I think
Such fun, but
I
that
want to
takes
give
getting ahead.
what's that, hon?
It's that takes getting out of this reactionary conditioning and getting ahead. And
Mm.
as a predictor or an intuitive, I can say not many people take the advice of time tested readings and whatnot to get ahead. They still say, "Oh yeah, that was mentioned," but if certain things had been done at certain times. We have had leading up to this, and we still do have flags, pinpoints in the game where we can get ahead by doing something not reactionary but proactively. Uh, but it's difficult to get people there because we've been so conditioned to be reactionary. So,
I think that we've also have had knowledge that has been hidden. I don't think it's been lost. I think it's been hidden. That
absolutely.
I think
you,
both the hiding made it get lost.
yeah, well, yeah, because you
True.
forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't know
People
what you
pass
don't
over
know.
and don't pass
yeah.
it down and
But
things.
the referencing the John D book, and I've been reading it, and it's fascinating because I'm reading this, and Lynn and I were talking late last night, and I said, if let's just say that there was an event that took place 2,000 years ago, but the way that it came off was not the way that it was intended.
Yeah,
And there was this opening, this opening of into a
consciousness.
different dimension. Consciousness
Yeah,
is a word,
consciousness.
but
Yeah,
there was there was something that came through with the message, and
Came
it
through
was
the
counter to
membrane.
the message.
hmm.
And we would call these beings the modern day demons, but what they are is really an alien race that have somehow or another connected to a much more ancient race. And I think that that's what has been missing. We've bought into this idea of a singularity called God, and that God created everything. Well, have you ever thought if you believe that, then that means that God created it himself? Now
Hmm.
explain to me how that happens, but then we can get on to other. But the point is this knowledge. And as I've been reading John Dee's works on here, he keeps referring how humans reject this. They can't handle it.
They
That
can't
there
Hmm.
handle the
is,
truth.
yeah,
They,
Hmm.
exactly. They can't handle that your
Hmm.
God is a Johnny come lately. It's an aberration. There is
he's a
something
blow-up
so much
doll.
more ancient.
He's one of those inflatables at the car, where they sell cars,
Yeah.
just waving around,
Yeah.
He's one of those. But I've got to say, the John Dee thing, I was so frustrated in the comments last week, and it kicked me out. I was like, it's me. I didn't want to come in on my normal account because I was trying to get back in on my normal account. But
Oh,
the John Dee, when I was like, oh, I've got to tell him. But it was the day before that I was reading my notes about John Dee because
oh,
I've got so many notes. He's been a teacher of mine on some things. So, but he only comes up every now and again,
I'd
and
love
but
you to join me. I think that
I
there's
was like, I'm in,
answers that
I'm
he
in,
has.
I'm in, I'm in. The universe said so, but I couldn't get back in to
Yeah.
say. So I was trying to type, and I think Deborah was trying to help me because it was so synchronistic. Because it was like the day before you mentioned it on the show when I got booted was it was one of those feelings I get when I have a spirit or an essence that's been here before, whether that be the spirit themselves or the essence that's left here still that washes over me. Uh, quite strongly, and it's like a revision. It's like a remember this, look into this again because it's just timely or whatever it might be. It was that kind of feeling the day before, so I was just sort of meditating on that and reading up on some notes after we'd finished the horses, and then you mentioned it, and just as you mentioned it I'd been booted. It's like, tell him but so yeah, that was
But that
synchronous.
that confirms a lot, and there's been a lot of synchronicity. There's been others and that sent me the email, and I think of Colleen is out there, and but others that yeah, so there was the synchronicity amongst the group here.
Oh
So
wow. Yeah.
I think that in Trina, to get to your point, dear, in order for us, I think, to take the bus over, is that we have to, number one, realize that we can. And here's just a thought. If there is a group of humans or human-like that have known about these ancient ones and they have made a deal with them, my question is, would we be a number one willing to make a deal with them, us collectively as a group, right? And say, listen, there's always a needing of a changing of the guard, or is it possible to truly find out these physics? And to me, these are just nothing more than technology. Someone's writing a code, someone's learned how to use energy in order to open portals, in
Mhm.
order to get connected to other dimensional, interdimensional beings.
Mhm.
So could we do that on our own?
Mhm.
Now, every
Yeah.
time we've tried as a group to expand out there, weird shit happened. I mean,
Yeah, well,
that's why
that's
I
on
don't do it
purpose.
anymore. Yeah, it's like,
It's I mean
hell
that
no, I
yeah,
ain't
like I
doing this,
said, when you enter those vibrations, oh, instant alarms go off. It's insane.
Jeez.
Especially when there's many, right, Trina? Like, because that's
Yeah.
just amplified energy light, if you
Oh.
so it triggers an alarm for sure. Like it
Mhm.
triggers the tripwire.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of different beliefs. I mean, this group here is eclectic in our perceptions of what reality is and how reality is framed. But we have the most uniqueness of truly being open-minded enough to say, well, listen, I may not agree with that, but I have no problem living next to it. It's fine with
Mhm.
me.
Hmm. Yeah.
Really, that's how I look at it. And along the way, you get to learn stuff, you know? That's cool.
Good stuff.
Good, and it is good stuff.
Yeah. Hmm.
But getting back to this, so I, it's interesting because I did not have it in my notes, but it's odd because I had it in my mind that so if there's one person, and Dr. Lynn, we had a discussion on John D as well. If there's probably one person in history that we could say is more authentic in the pursuit of the occult, magic, uh, demonology, angelology, however you want to say it, this cat really did do what most of us would like to think that we all could do. He was there. Now he paid a hell of a price for it. And I think that's the one thing that I was telling Lynn. I don't know if a person who's younger in life would really fully understand that there is this risk reward thing. I mean, the risk is that you're going to pay for something. The reward is you may get something that you wish you never got.
Yeah, it's a
Absolutely.
lose-lose most often.
So,
Yeah.
are we, how do y'all see that? I mean, so number one, do you believe that there are these ancient ones, these apparently that they're so old, they're older than God? I mean, that's about all the thing
Not
I can
hard for
say.
them.
And
Of
and
course I
they were
do.
here way, way before us. Colleen's been doing research, on the Black Pyramid and how there's a connection to Mars. Is it possible that a part of the human race that was not here originally but came here because of an ancient war?
Yeah,
Is this,
Markham. Yeah,
I mean, because NASA has shown us, and Colleen, thank you, darling. I ought to really pull this email up because it shows that there's a connection between us and this other planet, Mars.
correct. Yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think
I had
Elon
a
already knows that that's happened as well. I think the t-shirts Elon was wearing of colonize Mars, which is
Yeah.
exactly
Do
the
you
kind of
know
take
that the
man
myth of
has.
the what was the
I saw
book?
that as a threat,
Um,
towards what he
uh,
knows has been there
now you're going to
before.
have to. I'm going to have to show this to you because you brought it up, Jenny. I didn't.
Oh
So,
no, throw it into the
all right.
courtroom.
So, here it is. So, allow me, and Colleen, I'm sharing this because I know you won't mind, sweetie. Because this is also relevant. It's like there's a lot of synchronicity taking place here. So, I think it's this one.
I had a
So,
friend, a scientist friend, years ago back in the early 90s, and he told me that Mars was already colonized. I was like,
so
"Hmm,
in the book, well, when I had Laura Eisenhower, she exactly said her grandfather said, yeah, and then Laura has said that she has been there. But this is the book that Colleen said. This is Project Mars. It was written by Dr. Warner von Braun. Does that
oh,
ring a
wow.
little bell?
Yeah.
So what is so interesting is that he wrote that the Martian government was directed by 10 men, the leader of whom was elected by universal suffrage for 5 years and entitled Elon.
Oh, my
Two
goodness.
houses of parliament enacted the laws to be administered by the Elon and his cabinet.
There you
Holy
go.
Why
mackerel.
is Elon, I mean, this is his number one thing is to get to Mars, get to
Yep,
Mars.
yep.
And he really wore those t-shirts out of like the colonized Mars t-shirt, which always stuck in my craw. It was all because that's what he is, a colonizer, but also the fact that it felt like a threat. It felt like a threat to the universe, towards what has been there before at Mars and what is probably there now. It felt threatening, his energy, so that's how I can presume that we are right in that he knows about who has already been there. who has maybe already looked after that space.
Well,
So it
we
felt
know that there was a
threatening.
nuclear exchange, there was a nuclear war on Mars. The isotopes are there. I mean, and the only way that those isotopes can get there is through nuclear fusion.
Okay.
So that's the first thing that, we know. We know that the landscape of what Rover and Curiosity has shown us is what would be depicted more as a nuclear blast or a sudden cataclysmic wind.
Yeah.
Um, I still say that they have doctored the footage, that there is still water on Mars, and
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
they
The
there's
survived.
going to be
the
footage.
scientists I talked to claimed they had reforested
It wouldn't
at that
surprise me.
point. Yeah, that's and you got to have water to do that. So
And so then
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
we're talking about, the Disney movie, John Carter. I don't know if you ever watched it. It was a great movie, and it took place. He was a captain in the Civil War, and he got trapped into a cave, and it opened up a portal. And the next
Mhm.
thing he knew, he was on Mars.
Uh-huh.
And when you think about this, so if the Martians are older than we are, by the way, one of the evidences that I have been told is that if particularly blue-eyed, fair-skinned humans of the race, our race, we don't originate here. And how we know this is because our eyes are more sensitive to the sun
Yeah.
and its radiation, and even on our pale skin, we're not adaptive here. We'd be more adaptive to Mars than we would be Earth. Dimmer light, So anyway, uh, moving on from that point, my point is that then that tells me there's an ancient consciousness. Their spirits, call them what they are, but they're much older than our gods. They're much older than we are. And I think that the humans that find out about this, I don't know if could we really handle it.
Well, no, a lot of
Handle it.
people couldn't, but a
What
lot
was
of
that,
us would
Trina?
be.
I could handle it. I mean,
See,
I've been handling
I'm
it for a long time. So for me
you know,
now, it's like I don't think it's any other way. And the bottom line is, these ancient beings and ancient this and ancient that, we're all modifications from those things.
oh
Absolutely. And
no,
are we
absolutely.
handling it
So
as it is? Like
yeah,
Trina's right. Are we really handling it now? We're not knowing. Like we're not doing very well, not knowing. It
No,
doesn't
yeah.
all
seem
of our belief
very
systems are
well.
literally crumbling
Well,
under.
and it's all teaching you to
And there
go
you
to this higher power, this
go.
ancient source, this unseen God, blah, 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 blah. The only real meaningful changes that happen in your individual life is if you have a perspective that blows your own mind within your own experience. So the growth comes from you. It doesn't come from anything else. And everything that you're projecting into your reality and even into your subconscious field and into all the projections that your brain is putting together for you to experience your sight, all those things are just part of your own mind, your own capacity of connecting to whatever you're connecting to. So we're
What if
all
they
of it.
manipulate us though by that?
They've completely told
That
us
keeps us off
we
track.
are not, yeah, that we're so powerless when actually we're running this whole thing, but we just didn't know it. You
Yeah, we
know,
just weren't getting paid
yeah,
properly.
we really
Like, yeah,
don't
everybody
know.
is this
We
is
don't, well, we don't know it. We don't know. You don't know what you don't know, Wayne.
this is
We
true.
really, we really
But your
can't
spirit does
fathom.
know it, and that's where we've seen a lot of the violence out of people, a lot of the fear out of people, because a lot of people, their spirit still does know it. So there's a
Yeah.
cognitive dissonance, there's a
Well,
tear
they say
there
the
because,
most securest prison is the one that has no locks on it.
well, that's it,
Yes.
see?
Yes.
Because
The
there's
one
no
that tells
escape.
you
You
you're
don't know if
free.
you've escaped or
But
not. You don't know
Yeah,
yeah,
if you've
exactly.
now
I mean,
the
do we
gate or not.
um
yeah.
we there
If
there
we
there
can
are a lot
only
of people.
realize the way our brain is actually working, which it's taking information from the outside source around your body, which is your aura, your energy body,
Hmm.
your
Yep.
biofield. and it is projecting into your mind a story that you recognize. And through pattern recognition, you're able to assemble the atomic world around you to manifest that image. So you and Lynn share the same home. There is no guarantee that you see it the same way.
Oh, I guarantee you we don't.
Right. That's what I mean.
Guarantee it.
This
Guarantee it.
is
If
all
she's
you, and it's no one but you, and nothing else can
About
touch
my
you.
children, I worry about the kids' blindness, Trina, because honestly, they must walk around here and their sight must be truly affected because they don't see half and a quarter of the things that need to be picked up. They, they certainly don't see dishes.
No perspective of your perspective at all.
No, they just, I mean, it must be lovely for them because they just, wander through without seeing
Yeah.
anything that needs to be done.
But
And
getting
it's,
onto the aspect of how we perceive each one, we have some very interesting people that watch on this channel, and one is she's a practicing psychiatrist,
Huh?
and she listens in, and she has written me, and she has said many times that she said your mind was altered at an age where most other people at that time, when you're in the age of 15, 16, and 17, are being molded by society's norms through high school.
Yeah.
It teaches you certain social culture, etc. I wasn't. I was on the street. I was a part of what now appears to be an experiment that was widespread in 71. But through the use of LSD and what have you, as she said, your brain's wired differently.
Yeah. I think it does
And
do that, Wayne. I
yeah.
really do. I
And
really
she
do.
said that
Because,
that would have an effect on you as to how you would see the spirit realm.
yes,
You're
and Wayne,
looking
I,
at
I was
from,
experimenting with LSD from 15 to 17 years old. And I actually left high school and went and did some other fun things with, driving limousines and stuff like that. So,
nothing.
yeah, I really do. I wonder because my mind has always been expanded, but the greatest mind-blowing things I ever witnessed were when I was a child. So thank
Yeah.
God I have memory of it. But when you're 10, you remember, especially stuff like this, you're like, what? You know what I mean? So I had the greatest wisdom that I was ever able to obtain from really high realms of consciousness when I was a child. But boy, the second best thing was when I did start experimenting with the psychedelics.
The
Mhm.
keys.
Yeah, they are. They're
Okay.
stimulating different parts of your brain, which open up different rivers of consciousness that you couldn't process. So it literally there's a bridge, a link. And I think when you expand your mind in these ways, um, it does forever change the way your mind can access higher consciousness.
Right now, there's lots of studies going on regarding the isolation of those psychedelics and the way that a lot of them they're trying to drill down on the compounds to really get a more precise view of because a lot of these compounds people have very different experiences, personal experience, but they see the same rock people on a certain compound or they see the same gnome like looking people on the same compound. So actually that speaks to me also that one, it's a key to the brain, but also a key to a very definite physical space that another type of being dwells in predominantly because these people are not connected in any way, but they're seeing the same sort of beings depending on the compounds that they're taking also, which is an interesting um, avenue of study that they're going back down now.
mm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and probably even within the compounds that we're speaking of, I mean, whether, it was something like peyote, um, which, you have to be very careful with the cactus to begin with, but from peyote, we get mescaline.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
mescaline was used heavily with many of the Native Americans in their what is it that they call that? Seeking out your animal, your spirit guide.
Yeah, the shamanic journeys.
which has a different effect than if you're using lysergic desalamide, LSD,
Hmm.
which has, because those chemicals are basically man-made in the way that they're put together in the compounds opens up a whole different realm. And you're right, Jenny, as you were experiencing you would experience different aspects if you do DMT, Akasha. I mean, there's a number of them. Those particular, because they come directly from the plants. That's why cannabis has the impact that it does. But specifically, those type of they open a kingdom to another realm of beings that actually are there. You're the visitor. You're the one that's
Yeah,
coming into their reality.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So I would agree with that because, and my experiences were, 1970, 71, 2, and 3, what kind and that, which was a whole different air and vibe than, let's say, how when I was dealing with a lot of venture capitalists in Silicon Valley, and it's still happening today, microdosing is still practiced and used.
Hmm.
And you don't read about it in the technical journals, but you can imagine that those engineers that have been microdosing for years, particularly on LSD, specifically, they've been writing the code.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone getting it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
And think about
How is it?
exactly. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
if the channel is even opened up a little bit, so yeah.
That's
Uh,
what Odin did. He went to the tree, sacrificed himself to the tree in order to get the runes. That was the gift that he came away with, runes that he could apply here in certain equations to have a certain result. They still work today, but he went into the tree's cellulose to get the code. He was tripping. He went on a trip.
yeah.
That's what he was doing. So basically that's what these coders have been doing, they're putting out a different code, and actually they've been building their own damn realms in this reality, which is mind-blowing.
Yeah, yeah, I happen to agree. And again, and then it gets into that whole thing. Well, then the perceived reality that we perceive as being real. I mean, we all have our own private lives, off the camera, but we're all experiencing supposedly the same reality. But I don't see it that way. Um,
Mhm.
for instance, Trina, when we interact, but when we get off, there's no way for my brain then to frame your reality within mine.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
mean, I
Yep.
just, and in essence, you can say that I don't exist in yours, and you don't exist in mine, but only but yet we do.
Yeah. 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 I've got more
Confused?
framework 'cause I've been to
Yeah,
your
I
house.
totally,
So I can see your reality better than you can see mine, I think. You can see part of mine on the camera, but you know what I mean? And you've seen part of my reality through the camera. But at least I've been in your house. I kind of have a firm, better
oh yeah,
reality
yeah, yeah.
than
Well,
you
we have
do.
physically touched, so there is
Yeah.
that
But
exchange of
but
that
you
that
in
yeah.
my reality is going to be different because you've never been to this place. So,
No,
you would,
no.
yeah, you kind of just have to go from the little pieces you've seen and put it together in your mind. It's
Yeah,
really
because see, in my
interesting.
mind, I see Trina, and then I see her walking outside, and there's this freaking cactus everywhere. But that ain't true. And I'm
Yeah.
seeing a roadrunner running by with a coyote going behind that.
Yeah,
That's how I see the Trina.
Tumbleweed, I often
And
see.
then Jenny, I see you living in like this brownstone and almost a Charles Dickens novel that, this is how I see my Jenny. This is how she lives
Yeah,
in England. This is how they
I
do
love
that.
it.
in the
I
mud.
love it.
She's in the mud.
I
And
love it.
and it has nothing to do with reality, but it is,
But
you
it's
know?
your reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's how you frame it and you put it into
Yeah.
perspective and have manifested it into your hallucination.
Hmm.
Isn't that cool?
Which
We
going full
manifested each
circle
other.
now.
We manifested each other. I really do believe that. I
Oh,
really
Well,
do.
it's
absolutely.
because of our brains have
Absolutely.
been, well, it's not, it is our
The
physical
signal.
brains have
Yeah.
been rewired.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and the connections here that I look at every one of these people that are in the chat room. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's other channels and they got their chat rooms in here, but this one there's a kinship, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's like we've known each
I
other
feel people
before.
in here, but I know when they're thinking of me too. Like I know Deborah Sloan was particularly thinking of me,
Mm.
and I feel confident enough to say I haven't had a chance with time to touch base with her to say, hey, I felt you the other day, but I did very deeply, very caringly, very lovingly, just even just a wondering of how I was getting on. That was that type of energy to often feel from you guys, and so that it's there. And that's different
That
other
John,
chats that I'm in.
that's a
It
portal
is. It
that
absolutely is.
we have this ability.
Yeah.
And I say if we could perfect that in understanding that it's a very crowded realm over there, I think that's the one thing that most don't, or let's say underestimate, is how crowded this unseen realm really is.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
Very, very full.
there are a lot of beautiful
Mhm.
beings, but there's a lot of bad hombres too.
Yeah. Just like here.
Yeah, yeah, ain't this, and it's the truth.
It is. I
You
mean,
know,
it really is. Yeah.
you think about it, like
Yeah.
yesterday's show was about on fear, how it controls the mind. Back
Yeah.
in
And
the
it's
late
false
60s.
evidence appearing real because for real, this is temporary.
Well, the thing I always think about, they've so ingrained into our mind of terrorist acts,
Yeah.
people dying, and
Yeah.
these and that is a programming. It's something that is primal in us, to where
Yeah.
if you're walking around always having to be on guard, that's a lot of psychic energy that you're emitting.
Well, it keeps you too in the total carnal mind.
Yeah, it
See, they're
does. It what keeps
keeping
you.
you, yeah, they're keeping
Yeah,
you anchored in the carnal mind, so you have no access to your spiritual mind.
yeah,
That's the gig. So what,
And
like I said,
yourselves become toxic in that fear, don't they, Trina?
yeah,
They actually become scientifically measurably toxic. Yeah, that's why
yeah,
we know stress, even from a GP who doesn't want anything to do with the spiritual, is very much in the physical world, will say, oh yes, stress can cause this to trigger alopecia. It can cause a whole array because it causes an imbalance and a physical toxicity. So when you're in fear, it causes that toxicity. The magic trick is that they then give the psyche a caricature to blame for all of that that's going on in their lives, rather than the trickster themselves. So they'll give them, I don't know, a community, or they'll give them a religion, or they'll give them um, a football team. They'll give them that enemy and that fear of that enemy. So actually the fear is always misplaced too, which has an extra layer of stress, because it's not really from there, but you're going to direct it to there because that's where your psyche is being told to direct it. But that's not getting you the results to actually nullify the fear just keeps building, because it's the ever exchangeable invisible monster that we're all chasing around, and it doesn't exist really.
or since it's interesting, in my notes I wrote, so how does a perfect God have enemies?
Yeah.
And you think about that, and the thing that I was taught, um, you know, through decades, if you've studied the Bible and you come out of that religion, is to fear God. Paul wrote to stand in the presence of God is a terrible, horrible thing.
Yeah.
And the fear of the Lord is the first step to wisdom. So the very foundation of the fabric of our existence, our consciousness, which is framed by these precepts, makes us addictive to the fear aspect of it. We fear God, we fear our fellow man,
Yeah.
and then and it's crazy. And
Yeah.
we say, well, we can step out of it. I don't know. I mean, today, one of the things I found about technology is that technology has an embedded fear attached to it.
Of its own death. It sure does.
I
It
mean,
sure
it
does.
sees us, it watches us. There is no such thing as privacy or even thoughts anymore. And
You know,
that's why what's that, sweetie?
when I realized, that we don't die, it started to change the way I think about how I think everything, because energy can't be destroyed. It can only transition. What's that transition? It just goes from a position of interacting with this realm into the interaction of complete spiritual part of you, which is typically unseen. So it's more invisible. But it goes back. Anytime you get destroyed here, it sends an immediate copy back to the other location of invisibility. And then that goes straight to your source connection, and it preserves and protects everything. And then it can pop you out in another location wherever I think you desire to go with your consciousness.
That
So,
requires is a disciplined mind. And
well,
Yeah,
that's something that we
you
don't
know,
have today.
I think we're
Most
doing it
minds are
all the
not disciplined.
time. We're doing it all the time. We don't know.
Yeah, and
like
I know when you
each
say
day's a
we,
participation to the determination that you're going to have thereafter.
Yeah, it's
So
just like that
each
butterfly
day,
effect,
each
every
decision,
decision. Yeah, we don't
yeah,
realize how important these thought processes are in the mind. And that's why Wayne, being kind to the mind, it's like, oh my God, boy,
that's
big
yeah,
start. Big
true.
start right
Yeah,
there. Just
and it's
big start.
the intent as well of
Yeah.
practicing your intent, following your
Yeah.
intent through, because the more you practice that intent muscle, the more intent you're going to be able to fixate and hold when you're being through going through a tumble dryer, if you like, of energy, when you disorientated maybe, how quickly can you respond? So the same way people in military go through training to see how quickly their heart rate can recover after going around a circuit, and they have to try and get that down, that time of recovery down, so that they can put out everything they need to put out physically, but then recover quickly and find their bearings quickly, without concentrating on a back pounding heart. So it's the same thing. But you're right, Wayne, there's
well,
not many people doing it.
and I'll
Living
tell you why, because you can't have this type of conversation out in the public.
Right. They don't understand that you got
Africa.
two different minds and you're processing with the conscious mind and
If
the subconscious mind, which is typically invisible and unseen. And then, there's the source connection that you have that's coming from your higher projected, what, some people would call sun or a star, but that's your central point of light emanating into the material realms from what I've been shown. So, I just think when people start to realize that, they're three minds in one body, there's a lot going on that we haven't really come into terms with. And most of it shouldn't even offend most religions because it kind of is in alignment with it anyways. So, it's like get over it all,
Well, I can
get
tell
on
you,
with the bigger
it's
picture.
offensive to them. It's
I know.
again, you could not have this conversation,
We're
particularly in the part of the
living,
country I live in. And I
we're
doubt
living,
that we could go out to any pub and have this conversation without literally freaking other people out or
that
offending
happens.
them to the point of violence of attacking you.
That could happen. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and I guess my point being is that we are such a small minority. I mean, we are an infant. Our number is, unfortunately, it is not even in the 1%.
Yeah,
No.
but some of these younger kids in the 30s and 40s, and even some in the 20s, their minds are on fire with this kind of stuff. So
But
I've
they're
seen
already
someone go,
but they're plugged into the machine already.
well, what if we already are too?
Well, I'm not saying we're not, but the machine that what we consider now out there is for myself,
Well, like Pink
in
Floyd, Welcome to the Machine.
1965, we
Yeah, Pink
played
Floyd.
it with our own imagination and
And
interacted with the
what if
imagination
we
of
were
others.
plugged in to one system and these new generations are getting plugged into like new layers of the system? But you see what I'm saying? So what if the jump to meta, that's like trying to get the whole conversion. Does that make sense? It's kind of what I see. It's like you get system upgrades and they put you into like first we had, you know, radio waves and then we went to analog and then we went digital and now we're into quantum. You see what I'm saying? It's just you jump layers and what does that do? It opens up the ability to communicate with things that have always been there that you had no awareness of before. Hence like the internet. It's always been there though.
All I'm just saying is that this whatever this thing is, this AGI, whatever it is, it's real. It's
Oh
happening. It gets back into
yeah.
the data center whole thing, which then goes full circle in is to, well, what are we really seeing here? Because I think that in some way it's all connected,
I do
and I
too.
haven't heard anyone adequately explain all the connecting points, but it's
I'd
too
like to make a
coincidental.
map of where all of these data centers are. I'd love us to compile a map because that would give us more answers. Because I think it's going to be something along
Watch
the
my
lines
show.
of,
I already did that. I already have the
Yeah,
maps
and
really,
for you. Oh yeah,
Wayne,
I
thank you.
you
What
know
just
the
go
how
back and look at the show I did. I show it city by city. I can show you neighborhood by neighborhood
how many
where
days
they
ago
are.
was that?
In your part of the world, Jenny, you have a heavy, heavy uh, concentration. They're in buildings that you think are houses.
Yes.
And they're actually these mini nodes. There's something going on here.
big time, big
This
time.
is, and it's
Well, I'm
spiritual.
going
Wayne,
to
think
watch
about
that
it.
after this show then because I think it's going to give answers like the pyramids give answers of how they align with certain stars. There's something about the alignment and the where they are and in the amount they are that'll give us further answers that they're not giving
I
because
was
it's not.
thinking on this Saturday night about 1:30 in the morning, I was sitting there writing, and it dawned on me that do you know what when you have a aerial telescope like the one they had in Puerto Rico before it went down, you connect telescopes together. And once they're connected, they become one big telescope that
I
allows you
didn't
to
know that.
really see it. So what I saw sitting there, I'm getting these weird drawings that come to me and I don't know what they mean, but I'm collecting them because they're happening. But I saw once this thing gets built and fully connected, it's going to be the most powerful emitter receiver that this quadrant of the universe has seen. I think it's being built for something.
Oh yeah.
And it
You know what
doesn't,
I keep
and we're
hearing?
not in that equation.
Well, you're
No,
talking about this. I keep hearing, you know how they always said we were under a quarantine or like a frequency fence? I wonder if that's they're trying to build a new one because I think we might have broke free out of this one.
Ariel said in the interview with an alien, she said that they were working on something to get back to their region. And it just dawned on me that if you connect all these data centers and everything that's happening, I mean, today silver went over $70 an ounce. This is real. And it's impacting financial markets and it's impacting markets around. because the reality is set in now to the financial markets that these data centers are coming, and they're coming in a wave that it's to me, it doesn't make sense technologically to do this. But if I
And they've
was
had to
trying,
come.
oh,
Sorry,
it's
Wayne,
it's
go
you
on.
know, that's right. That's right.
They- They've had they've had to come in at a time when they've manipulated it so that laws are not holding them back either, and transparency laws are not holding them back either. Because, like you say, those houses in the UK, it usually would have come up against much more scrutiny and much more planning permission, much more safety regulations, and they've done it at a time when they aren't having to be so transparent too, deliberately.
yeah. So it seems to me like this is an alien intelligence that is, if I wanted to get back to my world and I've been trapped here, and let's say I've been trapped here for billions of years, and I'm just now being able to use these monkeys to build a system for me that will allow us the capacity, the energy capacity to send the signal out, or maybe open the portal up. Do you see where
Or
I'm
to
going
bring
with
the
this?
signal in,
Yeah.
yeah, to
Yeah,
bring
or
things
to bring the
in
signal in. Yeah. Something's
Exactly.
more.
going on. I mean,
Wayne,
it's
they say
crazy.
the Earth is a jewel in its capacity to be a multi-dimensional international travel highway. So apparently she has portals and access to many gates. So you might
Mm.
be onto something really big with that. That could be very potentially possibly what they're trying to do is open up the
And
Stargate.
what if, and let's go step back. What if this is
Interesting.
from our ancestors of Mars?
Mhm.
Isn't there just a brand new program that they introduced on the government called Stargate?
Yeah, it is Project Stargate is, yeah, it's been
Holy
out
crap!
there.
This you
Yeah.
might be onto something. This might
Yeah.
be what. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So you know
Mm.
that drawing that you showed, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, where it was circular and it seemed to have sort of antennas around the circle.
Yeah, I got it
That one's kept popping up in my mind, and I don't know if you have it in
right
your
here.
country, but yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So
Yeah.
you see how the sort of the energies connecting and then building in the middle. Um, that feels very similar to the stone inside our forest. You know, that crystal anchoring that we've got there. But you see the antenna things. I don't know if you have them in your country, but for a good few years now, they've been building these really ugly looking, they look like big fat lampposts. And they go really high up and they've got rings around them at the top. And there's something to do supposedly with 5G. I think, but these things are still getting built now. I think it's more to do with the data centers, and they always lay the pipe for them in purple, in the purple covering,
Oh, wow.
which I always find ironic and
Curious color,
interesting.
isn't
Uh-huh.
it?
Because it's not an
Yeah.
electrical color. It's not something they use a lot, but it's the
Oh my
only
gosh.
I've
You
looked
know
it
what
up.
I
It's the
wonder?
only piping we've got is purple for this reason.
I
It
wonder
felt
if
like
it's
that
quantum
drawing very
fiber.
activated. Maybe,
And that's why
maybe.
it's purple. So they know not to cut through the quantum purple lines.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what that is.
It's
Wow.
big, big purple housing. I'll catch a picture of it one day for you. But I'll have to take a picture of that antenna that I'm thinking of in my mind with it keeps drawing me back to that drawing. In that it feels like it's a lot of them in the circle of that drawing. So I'll have to catch a
Yeah.
picture of them in the light for you and see if you recognize them in your space, Trina, and your
We
space,
have them,
Wayne,
but ours look
and if
different.
they
But
resonate.
we have
Right,
them. Yeah.
right, okay.
Someone just said implosion design. I should look up. Another one said there's a tribe lost in space. How you doing? Tribe in Africa that dances with those symbols on their heads. Yeah.
Wow.
Um,
Interesting.
hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Very.
just been coming it in, and I've been sensing that there is a physical, let me just not say physical maybe. there's a psychic boost or something. Something's happening. I know it's kind of weird because I'm getting this kind of things and I'm just sitting there reading, and the next thing I know, I have my pad next to me and I start drawing stuff like this, of which I had no idea, but this is one that came to me the other night.
Wow. That looks like almost like tissue.
It does,
Like,
doesn't it? Like a
yeah,
dermis.
like a layer of the skin, the interstitial tissues of the body. Wow, that's very interesting, Wayne.
Yeah, I have no
Wow.
idea.
It looks
So
like skin.
It does. Even with the things at the bottom here, with the
Yep,
cellulose skin
it really
layer at the
does.
bottom, it really does. You're right.
That's very interesting. And that's,
I haven't
that's
a
our
clue.
largest organ.
Fingerprint.
Well,
But
it's our
as you're
largest
talking, what
organ.
do you make of a waterfall? The vision I'm getting very strongly as you're talking about like the this potential Stargate, the reasons that they're building these things so that they can pass the signal along and build it. Why on earth am I getting from the skies, like literally coming into something like your circular drawing diagram, when a literal waterfall, from the skies, water, like a whole new source of water, coming from the sky with that, whether it's changing the makeup of the water that's held above us that we know about and turning it back into that
Wonder
more
if
liquid
that's the key.
form.
I
It's
wonder if
beautiful.
that's the key. The simplest key is to remember. I always was told if you want to change the world, you'll change the water, heal the water around you, pray over the water, bless the water, meditate on the water. Like those 30 monks that took the most poisonous water and made it drinkable in 30 days. If 30 people can do that, what could we do if we really started focusing on just healing the water? It could be that simple because we are that powerful, but people don't understand. But if things start to change, more people will start to connect because they'll be able to. They won't be so bombarded by this experience antenna they're experiencing because the frequencies will start to shift. And I wonder if they're
I think
already
they
doing it.
have. I mean,
Me
something,
too. I do. I do.
if other of you have gotten downloads, let us know. I think something has happened as well. I also, have this interest in cryptozoology, and something is changing where life forms are concerned. There is something happening. Uh, these they're on four legs. Um, they're as big as a human. They look somewhat human, but they're showing up all over the freaking world. I mean, it's on you know, whether trail cams, wildlife cams, something is really, and to me, it's evidence that what if there is this opening, and depending on the type of opening depends on what type of entity or creature can actually pass through it. I mean,
I think that's
Which highway did they connect up, kind of thing.
exactly. Yeah. I
yes.
mean, are you
I think
taking the
that is
expressway or are
yes,
you taking, you know,
absolutely.
the
It's
back
coming
road?
from the sea as well. We've got to remember that they're putting out frequencies in that
Yeah,
sea.
yeah.
It drives me crazy because I think we should leave those sea people alone, very the most ancient ones, because the
You
same
know,
way I see that coming from the sky, that waterfall, I often go into spaces psychically where it's literally under our sea. There's a whole other realm, a whole, I
there is.
get that. I believe the
There is.
research we've spoken about it because I've seen it. I've seen that sun, and it's not his
Mhm.
second son, it is their son.
Yeah.
That they know about these ancient cities. They're going to become much more frequent being discovered in the sea. I don't think a lot of them are so ancient. I think they maybe were in use not so long ago, very ancient, but not like long time uninhabited. Where the change in that space too. And the whales know about it. I know the whales know about it. So, but I
Yeah.
don't know why what you guys are speaking about, what people are channeling in chat maybe of what we're speaking about, and they're in a dialogue. Waterfalls are coming in with color very strongly
Yes.
to me.
Yes. Remember, I had that child prophet that told me all the stuff that was coming. This was years ago, and what she said was we would go through a great demolition derby, a great devolution, and then she said after that the angels were going to come down, and this could be aliens. I don't know what it's going to be. She said they were going to come down and they were going to kiss the earth and they were going to show us how to heal the earth. And then she says, and people would put on their coat of many colors, meaning the aura would start to shine and be filled with new colors. And then she was 10 years old. She's like, there'll be no more poisonous food like McDonald's, was what she said. I was like, oh my goodness. And this was a long time ago. This was years ago, back in 2011, I think. So, but she said, and then the purple light would transform everything. The new light would come down and it would change everything on the earth. And then we would heal the whole world. And she said there wouldn't be no more a lot of medicine. She said all the poison and all the toxins would be kind of just gone. So it was beautiful. And I always keep that in the biggest part of my heart to say, oh, come on, humanity, let's do this. I
Well,
like
that
her visions.
circle back to John Dee. It goes way back to that start of the conversation because he
Yeah.
speaks about the angels being these ancient codes, these
Yes.
ancient
Yes.
beings. And like Odin, he found the keys of alignment. So it was if you knew the key of alignment, if you knew what color to be wearing, if you knew what time in the sky to be doing the ritual, if you knew what time of year it was for to make it the strongest connection highway for that angel, that angle to come in. So what you're speaking about there, that this young prophet was speaking about, would go straight back to that when she's saying about angels, the alignment of the code has to be just right to bring in these ancient beings. If it's not, sometimes you can't bring them in. And John Dee got burnt by that because he didn't bring them in the right way with the right equation in his words. So that, but that's the same story of Odin is the same story of John Dee, but we've got his historical writings in front of us at least, where he went down that experimentation to find the angles, to find the ratios and to get those ancient codes and knowings in. So it's very profound what you've just spoke of, Trina, 'cause it sticks for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a beautiful experience. And I've never been able to forget it, but she was so clear. And the words she was using for a 10-year-old, I'm like, what? And literally, she was sitting down watching SpongeBob, and I had been working with her father. And I was like, oh, okay. And he came back, and then all of a sudden, she stood up and grabbed a picture Bible and started prophesizing. And she was talking about Joseph and the coat of many colors and how the importance of Jonah and the whale would be, and it was about consciousness. And she was also spoke a lot about. Oh, there was one more. Oh, they don't want me to say that one. Yeah, I can't get it right now. But yeah, it was profound. It was profound, and so much of like what she was saying, I was starting to see it all. And she said it would happen when the ice started melting. So Antarctica, I guess, the ice, what I was picking up on was what she was talking about, the glaciers. Like when the ice starts to melt, that would be the beginning of the Great Devolution. So it was pretty profound what she was saying. Like I said, can't prove it all, any of it at all, but it was very intense. And she definitely was receiving a message from somebody who absolutely knew what they were speaking of. It felt very not iffy at all. It was like, first you will see, then you will see, then you will see, then you will see, then they will come, then the light will come, then the colors will change and the coat of many colors. And it was like, whoa. But the first thing was the great devolution, the demolition derby. I was like, okay. So I think we might be getting to that part.
I think there's
Definitely.
many possibilities, potentialities of the future. I don't believe that the future is particularly set, but I do believe that fate and destiny can be influenced. I'll
Yeah,
put
you
it this
see.
way.
Absolutely.
I think they can, I really do believe that they can be bought off.
They can be
Because,
bent.
huh?
They can be bent to our will. They can be.
Exactly. I mean,
Well,
uh,
I think that's the thing about the driving part. We have so much of this. We know the prophecies. We know how it's going to go. What if the most important part is to, like you said, use the water from your spiritual self? The water is coming down like a waterfall. Transmute the water and put out what you want to see. We want to see the earth healed. We want, put what you want to see out there. Program the new waters, because the new waters, I think, are coming already. I think they're entering now.
all I know is that I came in 1955. I had a plan, and then something came along and fucked it up, and totally there was a joker in the deck, and it
Yeah.
impacted for the next 15 years of my life. And because the thing about it is, I'm 70 now, so I can look back. And, the future for me is there's a different purpose and reason by when I would say, well, what is the future going to hold? I know what it holds for me is eventually I'm leaving this place. And that, as you get older, comes closer. And as you look back in the past, I can see where I came in with a plan, and had that plan gone in according
Mhm.
to Vedic astrology that has been done on me. um, this huge shift was to cause another thing. So it's very interesting. And as I think of the future for mankind, I think there's many potentials, but unfortunately, I think the ones that are leading that charge are not in our best interest. So that's why
Yeah.
John D is important for me. He's the last guy that I call legit. I don't even consider Aleister Crowley legit as much as I do the writings of John
Oh
D.
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
there is in a league of his own, John
yeah.
Dee,
I mean,
and I think more
it's
purist.
in your monarchy's records. I mean, John D was an act. They burnt his damn library. They
Yeah,
stole the books that they wanted and
yeah.
burned the rest. I mean,
They didn't burn that much of it either. I don't believe very much of it
I
got
hope
burned.
that is the
All I
case,
think,
Jenny. I hope that
me
many of
too,
them,
me too. But I
yeah,
think a lot of them were just confiscated for the use. I honestly believe his works are the only reason that the royal family still exists in this
I
country
think you're
now
right.
today. The magic that he was able to tie to that crown, it gave it, and it gave him. Some people might not have a good feeling about him. I do. I have quite an affection towards his spirit. I see him as uh, he endeavored. They still can't do that much bad to his character now, even though they've tried. When they hold all the power, because his teachings and his workings were strong. They were set in
And we're the
very strong
tendrils of that
esoteric wisdom.
antivirus. Small
Yes.
channels like this that talk about it. I look at myself, and I'll state this, I still have the Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
It's still in
Absolutely.
me. Ikonosto boroita
Mhm.
shandimoto paratastinto nino liata kainto sila ka anindasinto poriato siniete. But the point is, it's still there. It's still alive within me. And it
Yeah.
doesn't require a belief in a religion, a philosophy, or an ideology. But
The
this is, for me,
spiritual.
is a power source
It's my
that's
hack.
it is this is what draws me into this realm. It's been drawing me for decades. And so for myself, because there's nothing any spirit can do for me,
Mm.
so that puts me as an equal, no matter how you look at it. You can be as fierce and as
And
ugly
that
and as
goes to the
deformed.
ancient ones, that goes to the gods, that goes to
Exactly,
all the
exactly.
we're all right now atoms in an atomic
Yeah.
structure, and we're all energy that emanating from that and through that. It's all the
Hmm.
same stuff.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
same stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the gift of tongues, folks, it's real.
Yeah.
Very
It's a
real.
real,
Yeah.
I can tell you, it'll take you places that no drug can take you.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
True
Agreed.
that.
That's all I gotta say. You
Yeah.
know, now I got Huey Lewis in the news, you know, in the back of my head. You don't need money, don't need credit card to get on. Anyway. Well,
Yeah.
ladies, next time we meet, it will be next Tuesday, and I'll be here regularly now. My sweet wife has gotten through the physical therapy in the first part, but
Okay.
so we'll be back here normal up until the point to where she gets into the next point. But for the meantime, hope y'all have a great way, no matter how you celebrate the day. It is the 25th, I believe, is the day the sun starts moving back north, which means
Yep.
the days will start getting longer. The long night has come to an end, and so plenty to, and I always like the aspect that the 25th really is Saturnalia Day. It's,
Mm-hmm.
It is. Have
yeah.
fun, get naked.
Yeah.
I love that idea,
What we used
Absolutely.
Just
to
be free. That's all I can say.
do.
Anyway, so thank you two. And next Tuesday, let's just do a show on let's prognostic let's see. I guess it could be prophetic, couldn't it, Jenny? I mean,
Of course,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Prophecy,
mean, personal
prophesy.
prophecy exists. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, we
Yeah.
could.
If
Yeah.
the if even just a portion of people started putting good stuff into the program, it's really going to help. You know what I mean? I know
Yeah,
there's certain
yeah,
things that are meant to do what they're supposed to do for clearing and cleansing and starting over. I think we're in one of those
yeah.
positions. But the more you can add to it to put it into more of a position of humanity, what's actually going to work better for us, I think it's really going to serve humanity in a big way.
We could have a
So
little New Year's Eve party. I mean, it's not technically, it'd be New Year's Eve Eve.
Yeah.
two of ones for whoever's thinking in the chat about this time that we're in. So the two of ones we spoke about actually a few weeks ago. You can see the guy is in red. It's fire. It's the element of fire, Trina. And it's he's looking out to other horizons. He's got the whole world in his hands there, and he's poised between two plans, two ways of thinking, two passions. But there is actually one hand holding on to the world. One stick is erect just on its own, and the other hand is using as a staff on the. So the left-handed decision would be the decision to go by. Whether that makes sense to you, I put in stuff in a hat and pull it out with your left hand. If you want to leave it up to more
The left
random.
If you have a
hand,
choice to the right or to the left, to make the left for the
well, the
prophet will
left
come
hand
forth,
Yeah.
too represents
So
the divine feminine, the subconscious mind, the part of your
Yeah,
mind that's
you'd
hidden from
be
you. So
into
it's
that
time to
then. So
remember.
you've
Yeah,
five of the staff, and then like Trina
yeah,
says, that divine feminine referencing to help you make your decisions going forward and recognizing everything we've said in this show actually with the brain, reality, different realms and whatnot, actually can be shrunk down so that you're holding a whole world in your hand, and determination of which way you go in that world or how you proceed in that world should be channeled, like Trina says, through the divine feminine, but through the staff and rod of the divine masculine, for the fruitfulness of the whole plan to come together. But I would say be bold and think outside of the limitations that this reality is
Jenny.
inorganically setting before you.
Do you guys remember when I told you when I was a little kid, I had a vision that this big God entity thing, I don't know what it was. He had the earth holding it in his hand and he popped it, remember? And I felt
Right?
everybody die and I freaked out and then he laughed and he's like, my child, if I've created it, what makes you think I couldn't take care of it. And then he brought back this shiny, sparkly earth. It was a mimic. It was identical, but it just glowed. It glowed from the inside out. It had this wonderful song and this harmony. Oh, the harmony. It was indescribable. So
bring back the harmony, change that world, change the sphere. But yeah, so
yes.
the 6 of Wands comes after on the bottom of the deck with that. So it's not so again it's fire. And you can see here now he's on a horse. There's a lot of red involved, but there's other people celebrating. The other people in the background are actually holding the staffs too. But this guy that is sitting on the horse, he has the wreath on his head as well as on his staff, which identifies him or her as they're above. Their victory is above and beyond that of the river of victories around them, whether that be just because your victory means a lot more to you than others. But in this case, no, I think it's a more wider, more synchronistic energy of we can affect that river of change. And this card would speak of what you put your mind to, how you mold the world, like Trina says, and hold it is where your victory will lie. Ultimately, people with good intent are going to benefit from being around those people who make these changes with a definite focus and intent and drive, passion, a lot of red into the fire. Will benefit from people like that. So even if you're not feeling it right now, get around somebody who's feeling the victory. Bless them in that victory. Feel it for them. Be part of the crowd until you get on your own horse, so to speak, because it's building that energy collectively as well as within. But whatever decision you're making, the Fool card comes in there after that. But these two are the reference to not being reactionary, but being intentful, being proactive, and seeing your victory wreath at the end. Very much so for other people to see too. Don't be afraid of other people seeing your success.
That's it. Exactly. While you were talking, I heard Michael Murphy. You ever remember the song Wildfire?
Oh, I love that
Oh,
song.
wildfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Jenny, Trini,
People.
Merry Christmas, Happy
Wayne,
Hanukkah.
Wayne,
What?
Wayne, did you know it's the year of the fire horse coming
How
up?
No
about that?
way.
Yeah, fire horse. I was
Find
like,
your
wait a minute,
fire
hold
horse.
on. You're singing wildfire, and the fire horse is the next sign. We're getting out of the dragon, going into the fire horse.
He's on a horse
Yeah,
with fire, with his
yeah,
fire sticks.
yeah, yeah,
Man,
yeah,
Like it.
there's synchronicities everywhere around here.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, hmm. All right,
Love
ladies.
you too.
Much love to
Love
y'all.
you back.
And thank
Yep.
everyone in the chat room. And I'll be back on tomorrow. Going to continue. And Jenny, if you feel anytime you want to add or contribute into the discussion with John D or with it, because, he sometimes things
Fascinating.
cycle back through and there's a reason
They
for it.
do. They do. And they just prod your spirit to remind you. And actually, thank you. Gratitude to you for speaking out on your um feeling, your intuition, because it reminded me that that feeling of importance while I was filling hay nets of oh, John D, you need to look into him again, read your notes again. Actually, it's lovely that you could do that for me, in that's what I took from you, of like, oh yeah, okay, so the message is strong with this one, i.e., go back to those notes, don't put them down and forget about them. So it gives you a remembrance of, like, yeah, stay on it. So yeah, I will, definitely. But you give me a date. The way my time's being at the minute, the way commitments are being thrown my way at the minute, it's better for you to give me a time that you would like me to maybe hook up with you, or anyone else, and I'll be there, kind of thing,
Cool.
rather than me. Um,
We might think about it on Friday.
That would be great. But yeah, I'm going to go back and watch that show just before I go of that one that you said that because I've been wanting to do that and you've gone and done it. So gratitude again,
Oh,
my
gosh,
brother.
thank you. I mean, learning, we could talk for another hour just on like learning. I've been practicing intuition
Mhm.
and this is a message to everyone. So this is my Christmas gift to everyone. Many of you have become laxed in your intuition and you've allowed yourself to begin to second guess yourself. And as a result, that weakens the natural intuition that you have. So the best practice is to begin to do things intuitively and instinctively, and then that will allow you to be able to become more accurate in your intuition because it'll guide you. You said something earlier that I thought was so interesting with the first card you pulled. I had a situation today where I could have gone to the right or to the left. And I knew that that to the left would be much more better than that to which the was to the right. And I
Yeah,
was right,
Yep.
you know. Yeah.
Yep.
you're right
So,
to go
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Sometimes you got
Right.
to dive in instead
Yeah.
of go out. So that's the difference between right and left because right is, more logical or the left is more creative, more hidden, more and the right's more logic and I know right. So yeah, we got to get closer back to
So
this
do that. When you get that intuition, it said
intuition.
to do that, do it immediately because if you stop for even a millisecond, then you'll second guess yourself. You'll say, well, should I
Yeah.
do to the right or to the left? When you
You'll
knew
yourself when your dog
instinctively,
goes and eats it anyway. You
yeah.
walk past something and you think, I'm going to pick that up because my dog's going to pick that up and it would be good for them. And you say, oh no, don't be so ridiculous. It's in a place they can't reach. But your intuition's telling you
Yeah.
just pick the damn thing up from there and move it. And then all of a sudden you recognize that, oh, they can find a way to reach anywhere. And I should have picked the damn thing up. That's the kind of energy. Whoever in the chat is there doing that, been there, done that just yesterday. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the practice of it, and that's how easy it is to start building that muscle again.
I
Actually,
buy,
just
for instance, ice cream, a certain kind of ice cream for my wife, and she didn't even ask for it. But every time I get home, she said, I was thinking about that.
this is
Yeah.
what
And
you needed.
yeah, there you go. And you're going,
Totally on this
It's like,
telepathic
I
line.
got you. I
And
got
it's,
you, babe.
yeah, the Wayne Lynn line. And like, oh, I get
Mhm.
you. Absolutely. Yeah, I've been doing that since I was a kid with my mom.
See,
I mean,
wonderful
craziness.
things.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
we've really gone over. Thank you,
Hmm.
ladies. Really appreciate it. Much love to y'all. See you on Friday. And
You too.
because I really want to get into more of by the way, we can actually do, and I'll put it up as a background screenshot. So to draw that white circle, all you have to do is just to have the representation of the circle itself as we get into the book. And that circle then basically encircles all of us who are in part of the podcast.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
So that's
So
how that
funny.
someone wrote me and said, well, how can he says he warns everyone to do that's how you do that? Because John D would say that this internet is a medium
You know,
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
we should be
it's so
channeling.
interesting, Wayne, you're saying about the white circle and put this group within it. I have my camera is a ring light, and you're sitting in the middle of my white ring light.
See,
Yeah.
that's my point.
On,
That's what I'm talking
yeah, I'm
about.
like it literally you're placed in the center of the ring.
You've got
See,
a halo.
that's what I'm talking about.
A halo around your halo.
That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say. All
See?
right. So, all right. All you free thinkers, have a great holiday. We'll see you tomorrow. And then Jenny, we'll see you on Friday. And then Trina, see
Yeah.
you next Tuesday. And if Trina, if you want to come on and add to the discussion, it's
You
going to be
know, I
fun.
might be able to on Friday, so I will
On,
let you know. But
you can, you
yeah,
can.
Uh-huh.
You know
Uh-huh.
well,
you
I'm
can.
normally working, but with the holidays, things are really weird right now, and
Ordinary
I
people just
finally have a couple days
Okay.
off.
So there you go. And anyone else who might want to join, if you're really into John D, then yeah, yeah. Because John D opens the door to Enochian magic. And that's powerful shit, folks. That's all I got to
Mhm.
say. I mean, that's like, eating Carolina ghost pepper, It's like,
Yeah. Well, Enochian, and that's Enoch, and he was taken up by God and brought back and given, I mean, there's a lot to that whole Enoch and Enochian and
I swear Enoch
big,
went and talked to Steven Spielberg and said, "This is how it happened,"
right,
She
right.
got that
Do me like this.
wrong.
And you have to have this song that goes with it. Do, 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 that's
Yeah. Yep.
all right,
Mhm.
ladies. Love you
All
all.
right. Love
Everyone in
you.
the chat room, we love you.